I would like to talk about the prodigal son and his father tonight, and that's found in the Bible, in the New Testament, in the 15th chapter of Luke. And in that chapter, there are three little stories, one of which is the prodigal son, what we call the prodigal son. Really, it's about the father of the prodigal son, more than about the prodigal son. But first of all, there is a shepherd in the 15th chapter of Luke that is seeking lost sheep. And that is a type, it's a picture, a word picture of Jesus seeking human beings that have wandered away from protection and have got themselves into trouble. And then there is another little story of only three verses, of a woman who has lost a very valuable piece of money in her house, and she's sweeping the whole house looking for it. That's a type of the Spirit of God who is present in the world tonight, looking for those who are lost, to return them to their rightful owner, which is God. Again, it's about God seeking man. And then with the prodigal son, really, we call it the story of the prodigal son, but really there was two boys in this story, and both were really the same. One had kind of acted out his view of life and his view of God. The other one kind of kept it under wraps. You could say he was a religious rebel, and the other one was more of a party animal type rebel. Let's read this story in the Bible that Jesus taught in Luke 15, verse 11. He said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. It's surprising that this was written some 2,000 years ago. This seems like the culture that we have around us today. Father, give me. I want to go and do it my way, Dad. I'm not really into your way of living. Verse 13, it says, not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his field to feed swine or pigs. And he would fain, or he longed to have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave to him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said unto his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry. Now, we're not going to have time to read about the older son tonight. Maybe we'll do that another time. But this story that we call the story of the prodigal son, I would like to say that I've always held the opinion that this is a story of a rebel who's just gone into the debauchery of sin. I'd like to say that I've changed my opinion on that. I'm not going to say that he was an okay guy and that he didn't do anything wrong. But you know, it's not limited to those who are now laying in the gutter in Skid Row, as you might arrive at that conclusion. I'd like to read a verse back in the book of Proverbs, Proverbs chapter 21, that just to give you a perspective of what this is about. Proverbs 21, verse 4. The plowing of the wicked is sin. And I believe another verse in the 24th chapter, verse 9. Proverbs 24, verse 9. The thought of foolishness is sin. Now you say that's a pretty strict interpretation or application that you're making to us today about sin. But I want to very quickly bring us into synchronization with the God of the Bible. We realize that the God of the Bible created this entire planet. And here it is, He's created men and women. And we're living in a culture now, in a world that we are basically all prodigal sons. We have all said to God, Father, give me. I want to have a good time. I want to live in this world. It's my right to live here and to have a good time at your expense. I want a healthy body. I want a good job. And I want to have a good time, and I want to do it my way. I know that you've got plans for me, maybe some other time in my life, not now. I want to paddle my canoe my way down the river of life. That is literally the prodigal son. Because what we're trying to get here out of this is a spiritual lesson for us, because that's why Jesus told this story. To give you a spiritual lesson. And so the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me. And so the father here is clearly a type of God the Father. The prodigal son is clearly a type of those who have not recognized his rightful authority over them in their lives. And they have the audacity to say, I want to live in your world without any reference to you. Now, realistically, most people out there aren't even saying that. They're just doing it. That's the elder son. He never said to his father, if you read that part, Father, give me a bit of an inheritance so that I can just, I need some new threads, and, I just need to update myself a little here, and I don't like the way we do things around the house here. So, he's just kind of doing it. The younger son is the one who has some idea of what the father is about, and he wants to completely get out of that.